welcome this month's RC Races, where in addition to our usual news, views and interviews, we start our coverage to the biggest event in European RC racing. We have our exclusive race action from the 112 European Championships, but first we begin here at Harper Adams Community College for the Neo 08. Said 15 months after the last Neo invitation, we're now at Neo 08. Talk us through the changes in the way that the event's improved over the last year or so.
Well, the main thing is that the event's bigger than last year. We're 4 days instead of 3 like last time, and 210 drivers instead of 180.
And all in one class. You've dropped the truckies this year. Why is that?
I mean, doing truckies is quite fun, but it creates a lot of hassle with the timetable. And I mean, it's just easier to do buggy, and we can get more people onto the track because we had a phenomenal entry number. So just getting more people to experience the Neo track is a good thing.
And a much bigger international entry, especially from America.
Yeah, we've worked hard on getting the Americans over, and it's really kind of them to come to compete against some of the European guys. And I mean, I'm really happy that they came over and made the effort.
Do you think there's more focus on international competition with this year being a World Championship year?
Yeah, I think in many ways you could see it as a slight world's warm-up in a way, on a different track of course, but we're running 10-minute qualifiers just like EFRA do. I mean, most of the rules are based on EFRA, so we're just trying to copy the best in a way.
Now obviously you've not finished 08, but will there be an 09?
To be announced.
Phil, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And now it's time for the first of our race action from here at the Harper Adams Agricultural College. And with the first of the semi-finals, it's your race commentator, John Hindhoff.
So let's take a look at the grid then for the first of 2 semi-finals. 6 of these drivers will go directly into the final, and then it's 2 fastest losers. Truly international field there. 5 Brits, 2 Americans, 2 Spaniards, 2 Italians, a Frenchman, a Swede and a Finn. And they'll be battling it out on the dirt here at Telford. Special mention for Elliot Boots, who's only 15 years old. Oh, gotta love this IC racing. Oh, little bit of a jump start there. The finger was pointed, but Adam Drake gets away in first position. Already some action behind him. Darren Bloomfield from second in the grid. Expect to see lots of cars flying, lots of buggies flying, should I say. This is a tremendous course that's been set out. The drivers really getting to grips with it. We've had plenty of practice before we get to these semi-finals, and you'll just see the slightly shinier line on the dirt that is the preferred line by the better drivers. This is my favourite part, the tabletop into the very, very tight right-hander. As Adam Drake then, the American on the low seat, gets away from the United Kingdom driver, Darren Bloomfield, in second place. Another low seat driver. And already the battle's beginning further down the field. And that is the Spaniard, Robert Bataille, who's come up from 14th on the grid to 3rd position. He's under pressure from Vega, and he's had an absolutely cracking opening stint. Just see how difficult it is to keep the buggies trimmed out. There's a skill not only when they're on the ground, but also when they're in the air. Throttling on and throttling off actually changes the attitude of the vehicle when it's airborne, using the torque of the motor. That is Battle in 3rd place now. Did well here last year, I seem to remember. Good heavens, a whole year of doing it. Oh, and he's gone over! He's gone over! Just got a little bit out of sorts there, and he's dropped 1, 2, 3 positions. So into 3rd place now, the number 4 buggy of Richard Saxton, the American. And behind him is Vega on the 7 Mugen Seiki machine. So this now, the new battle. 2 buggies for 3rd place. Saxton in the fluorescent machine. Now, that is the leader, Adam Drake, the number 1 He is very confident. You really do see the difference. Oh, and he's made a slight mistake. Curse the commentator. That's allowed Darren Bloomfield to pressure just for a moment. I was just about to say, you see the difference between the drivers in their confidence levels in the bumpy sections as to how many of the whoops, particularly the big whoops in the middle of the course, they take at one go, whether they double or sometimes even treble them over the start-finish line again. Mark of a good driver also, that a small mistake that we've just seen from Adam Drake doesn't affect them too much, but Bloomfield smells blood, I think. Down Bloomfield from the UK, just chasing down the leader, and as you can see there, just got a little bit short on that jump and kicked the back end of the Losi buggy out in second place. It's a constant fight, this, a very different skill to being on the tarmac or the carpet, because although the track obviously doesn't change, the grip levels on different parts of the circuit are very different. And there's the ball for the lead, and Bloomfield goes through, almost drove over the leader there. Let's have a look at it again. You see the leader just again coming up slightly short on the jump. Can't plan for that, of course, and no blame to be attributed to Dan Bloomfield, who's now taking the lead. Now here's a battle just outside the qualifying positions. We've got Graham Allsop there, Joseph Quagrain and Robert Gustafsson, the two buggies at the front as they head down to the hairpin. Oh, and they're over! They're over! Quagrain recovers and Allsop goes up one. Let's have another look. Looks good at this stage, but actually it's almost a sympathy roll, wasn't it, from Gustafsson? Now there's Riccardo Rabetti. Now this is right on the bubble of qualification. He's got Lee Martin in the red buggy closing in very well indeed. And Martin goes through. Now can he pull out a bit of a lead? He has done. That's a proper motocross block pass there by Lee Martin, the UK driver on the Associated RC8. You can see just how rough it is around the back of the circle. Rabetti not letting him get away. The Italian on the Losi 8. Let's pick up the leader again, Darren Bloomfield. Another Losi 8. Now where is second place Adam Drake? There he is. There he is. He's recovered from that early mistake, and he's closing down on Bloomfield. Bloomfield again just a little bit short on that last whoops onto the start-finish straight, and he's got the hurry up now, hasn't he? You can just see how that buggy has picked up a bit of pace. It's starting to look a little bit leery. Now there's Graham Allsop. Looks like he's in third, but actually he's a lap back, so not in this fight. You need to keep your eye on the blue buggy, and he's gone over. Well, that's where the lead changed last time, and Bloomfield has made a mistake there. He's very lucky to get away with it as Allsop goes tumbling behind them. So Adam Drake now will be buoyed by that. He's putting the pressure on, and sadly for Darren Bloomfield, he has just let that pressure get to him. Now, we said before, it's a mark of the driver as to how he deals with that pressure and how he deals with making a mistake. Can he get his head together and just get the feel back on the sticks? Very easy to overdrive when you're under pressure, particularly on these off-road events. Oh, that is much better, and you can see straight away that Bloomfield has taken, probably literally as well as metaphorically, a bit of a deep breath and just got himself back together. Fortunately, not much traffic around at the moment, although we'll have to deal with that in a moment. You can just see the back markers whipping out of our shot ahead, and for me, Bloomfield has done a great job there because he's restored quite a lot of his lead. Just look at the gap between first and second. Go over the whoops and into the hairpin, and perhaps Bloomfield a little conservative there. He's got traffic to deal with, and now he's under pressure again. It does look to me though as though Darren's buggy's just punching out the slower corners better, maybe a little bit more traction, or he's a little bit better on the throttle. Now that's Gustafsson onto the pit ramp. That's probably a little bit early for a pit stop. Yep, retirement there. Oh, and the leaders have come together while we were watching that. Now that, I think they've just landed on each other, but that's put first and second. Darren Bloomfield and Adam Drake absolutely together, and a mistake by Bloomfield, and through goes Drake. Drake now leads. Well, we just saw, didn't we, a couple of laps ago, about here, Darren Bloomfield making a mistake, giving up part of his lead, and clearly he's felt the pressure there, and that's let the American, last year's winner, back into the lead. He's not been perfect himself, but now he's got a huge lead. No sign of Bloomfield behind him. Remember, this is how the lead changed. Bloomfield on the right of our picture just falls short, and it doesn't matter how good your suspension is, if you beach out the buggy on the bump, you're going to go over. So Adam Drake with the low C8, the GRP motor, is just about a lap away from taking this first semi-final. No sign of any pressure behind. Don't forget though, in some respects it's the top 6 that we're worried about, and we'll confirm those positions in a moment. But this is the man who won the event overall last year. Adam Drake is showing exactly the kind of form that gave him that trophy 12 months ago, and comes round to take the first of the buggy semi-finals. Adam Drake then winning that one. Darren Bloomfield in second place after giving up the lead. Daniel Vega was third. The other qualifiers, Yannick Alguon, Lee Martin and Richard Saxton, Riccardo Rabetti and David Tortorici will have to wait on their times.
And now we travel to Germany to begin our coverage of the 112 European Championships. We'll have a full in-depth report from Ingolstadt next month, but this month we start with the first of the 3A finals. And with your race commentary, it's John Hindhoff.
Mark Reinhardt then on pole position. Ronald Volker alongside him on the hot bodies. Then the Corrali of Simo Anonimi. Hubert Hönigel, the Austrian, in fourth position. The UK's Andy Moore not having a great time of it this weekend after some tyre controversy, and more of that later. Alexander Hagberg is next in sixth. Andy Griffith from the UK, we'll spot that one, won't we, in seventh. Mark Fisher in eighth position. Bernard Bopp very much on home ground, his home track, and his father organising the meeting in ninth. And the second of the Anonymies, Sake, at the back. So can Mark Reinhardt get the whole shot into the first of the right-handers? Then that tight hairpin that you can see, that's going to be the danger point, but everyone's gone through it, and Reinhardt has got away and made the break to start with into the technical session. There's been some kind of accident further back down the field, which has split the field slightly, and Reinhardt gets away. Ooh, right over the green area there. You'll notice we haven't got barriers all the way around the circuit as we've seen sometimes in the past. You've got to watch out for those orange corner markers. They can launch you. Now Andy Moore looking for third place. Oh, there's an accident there. Let's have a look at that again. Anonimi turning in, and Andy, well, racing incident, I think. They've both continued with no damage. Down in the midfield, Alexander Hagberg in the green rear car there as he goes through. That's the CRC machine. Now here's the battle for third place. Honegal from Andy Moore recovering to fourth. Anonimi, Seymour Anonimi in fifth position. Andy looks down the inside. Oh, tremendous manoeuvre from Andy Moore. Catches Honegal half asleep there, and Andy's back up into third position. Ooh. And flirting with disaster going across those corner markers, the bot dots as they're called. Now, that's our leader. Now here's the battle for fifth. Oh, that's Anonimi's gone off there. What's he done there? Let's have a look. Oh, he hits the bot dot, gets airborne, and from there there's no coming back. Hits the wall hard, and he's dropped a couple of places behind Mark Fisher now. There is Fisher going into the hairpin with Seymour Anonimi trying to recover. He's closing down on the German. Oh, this is very good driving from Seymour. Very easy to lose your concentration once you've had an off. And remember, it's the best 2 of 3 results, so points here may become important later. So every single position does count. Through past the scene of the accident. Oh, and he's gone through. Slight mistake by Fisher there. Left the door open. Seymour Anonimi. Oh, and a huge off there from Fisher. There's the mistake. Clearly the concentration's gone. He's lost one place, and he's going to hit one of these bot dots. There it is. The car airborne and rolling out. Spectacular accident. There are still people who will have a little look over the top of these corner markers. But you really are flirting with disaster. Second place, Ronald Volker then. No sign of the leader, he's well up the road. Reinhardt's really making his escape on this one. So, what can Volker do about it? He's got Andy Moore trying to chase him down. But at the moment, the top 3 are fairly well spread out. Very technical course here this weekend. It's like Andy's just closing in slightly on that second place. Really hasn't been at his best this weekend. Mentioned some tyre controversy on the grid walk. Well, Andy's favoured brand of tyres were at a very late hour declared ineligible for this, and Andy's had to change supplier. And as in any forms of motor racing, that is quite a difficult thing to get used to, and Andy just not his usual self this weekend. There's Andy Griffiths in the pink car, and he's hit one of the bot dots and gone off as well, but there he is recovering. The British drivers not used to this type of apex marker. They're not used in the UK. Reinhardt in the lead, and he has been unchallenged. Dealt with the traffic nicely. Not saying too much of him actually, because he's rather just gone about his business out of our sight whilst the excitement's been behind. Quick flash of Ronald Volker in second place. And there's the third place battle. Andy Moore still can't shake off Hubert Honegal. Not really in a position to challenge Andy. You can just see by the attitude of the car, there's not the fluency there, is there, from Andy Moore that we're used to seeing from the multiple champion. He has been thrown off his game just a little bit, but holding third, which is good points, of course. Oh, and there's the battle for 5th and 6th, and that's Anonimi, who's just gone through on Hagberg. So that's another place made up by the Finn in that blue and white Corrali. He's pulling away quite easily. He's got the pace, got the car set up nicely. Rather a race of what ifs for Seymour. Got involved in couple of incidents at the start of the race, but for those you'd have thought he'd have been at the sharp end. Really hooking up well out of the slower corners. Plenty of traction. And actually driving now rather better than he was at the beginning. Of course, as I say that could well be the curse of the commentator. Bit of traffic to deal with for this 5th place battle in just a moment. It looks like Mark Fisher is just ahead of them. No, in fact, it's Sake Anonemi. Oh, that's got to hurt. Just completely misjudging the oversteer there by Simo Anonemi. Perhaps excited at coming up the lap his brother. And I'm not sure that the front end of that car, which buried itself into barriers, will have survived that impact. Back with the leader, Mark Reinhardt, who again is just showing his class. Thought there might have been a challenge a few laps ago from 2nd place driver Ronald Volker, but that hasn't materialised. And just look at the skill levels here. Relatively long race, very tricky circuit, and you can also see that he's keeping well away from those corner markers. That section's fantastic, the change of direction there. Very delicate balance between throttle and steering. These cars, the 112s, lots of power, almost instant power. Very easy to get the back end spinning up. Now he's coming up to Sake Anonemi at the back of the field to put a lap in, who pulls out of the way. Great driving. Doesn't matter whether you're at Formula 1 level or here in 112. It's good to have heads-up driving from the tail enders. Need a little bit of assistance for the leader coming through. No blue flags as such here, of course. But Mark Reinhardt has won it. Looks happy. Look at Andy Moore. Not a happy man at all. 3rd place for him. Confirmation of the result. That's a 1-2-3 for Hot Bodies Machines. Mark Reinhardt will take 1 point forward into the next race for the winner. Ronald Volker 2, Andy Moore 3, and so on with Honeygel, Hagberg, Anonemi. What an eventful race from him, finally ending up in 6th position. Andy Griffiths in 7th, 8th for Bob, Sake Anonemi in 9th, and Mark Fisher rounds up the top 10.
Coming up on next month's RC Race, we begin our in-depth coverage of the 112th European Championships from Ingolstadt, Germany. We've more top action from the Neo 08, and we have all our usual news, views, interviews here on RC Racing.
Oh, that's got to hurt.